6 years ago, I was sitting out with some friends in New York City when I got a notification on my phone, and I was surprised to find that I had a text message from my grandmother. My grandmother was 78 years old, and she had never sent a text before. It read, "Hey Andrew, trying to text. Love, your grandma." So I sent her a text message back. "Hey grandma, it's a text. You don't have to include all that. Dear Andrew, okay. Love, your grandma." My favorite part is the "love your grandma." Like if it was "love grandma," I'd be confused. If it was "Dear Andrew, have a good time in Texas. Love, grandma," I'd be like, "Grandma? Who's grandma?" A couple of years ago, I went to Switzerland for work, came back, and sent a message to my grandma. "Hey, grandma, just got back from Switzerland." Her response: "Dear Andrew, Switzerland? WTF?" "Grandma, what do you think WTF means?" "Oh, well, someone told me it means, wow, that's fun." And I was like, that's exactly what it means. Now, I don't think I'm that funny. My jokes sometimes come off too dry, too sarcastic, and I cringe immediately after. But even then, my poor jokes manage to crack a smile on people's faces because of how much they suck. And over time, I've come to understand that no matter how good or bad my jokes might be, the shared experience of laughter creates a unique bond among those around us. According to a Gallup survey of around 1.5 million people in around 170 countries, the older we get, the less we laugh. But we don't have to live that way. Embracing humor is not just about delivering impeccable jokes, it's about recognizing the impact humor can have on our lives. Therefore, let's turn those frowns upside down and learn about The Skill of Humor by Andrew Tarvin. In 2012, I left my corporate job to teach about the value of humor. But when people hear what I do, they're a bit skeptical because no one thinks of humor as a bad thing. I mean, is there anyone in here that's like, "No, I hate feeling joy in my body"? In today's overworked, underappreciated, stress filled, sleep deprived culture, humor is a necessity because humor gets people to listen. It improves understanding, aids in learning, and helps communicate messages. And from a concept called sketch, we can learn about the importance of commitment to performance. Because the characters from Saturday Night Live, Key and Peele, and Monty Python, they're so enjoyable because actors are committed to the performance and they're confident in their presentation. Because humor is like dating. I mean, people tell you that they want to date someone who's confident. So a couple of years ago, I was with the bar with some friends and I saw this beautiful girl. My friend was like, "Yo, bro, you should go talk to her." "I can't do that." "Why not?" I don't have game." "Psh, you don't need game, bruh. You just need confidence." But they don't tell you that when they say you should have confidence in certain areas. Because no woman wants a man who's confident in math. And that's all I got. So I went up to this girl and was like, "Hey girl, you're way above average. Don't be mean." Has that ever happened to you where you thought of something 4 hours after the event? Yeah, on the bright side, that's actually a good thing. It's called staircase wit, and that means you have comedic instinct. And through practice and repetition, you can only shorten the time it takes to have that aha moment before it being from 4 hours ago to only 3 hours later to only 2 to 10 minutes to then happening in the moment. Because a reflection of the past leads to action in the future. And so we become more comfortable, more confident using humor, the more we actually do it. It's like Amy Cuddy said, fake it till you become it. Now, I know there's a couple of people in here that are like, what if I try humor? And there's an awkward silence. Well, it's only awkward if you spend time on it, if you dwell on it. And the reality is, no one has ever been fired because of a bad joke. Because a bad joke is something like, oh yeah, I had to miss school once because of hypothermia. I was too cool for school. Now that's a bad joke. But hey, as long as we're all positive and inclusive, we'll be okay. Because if nobody laughs at our joke, it's just now a positive and inclusive statement. Now, if you're going to use humor at work, recognize humor does not replace that work. Humor is like salt on a meal. You wouldn't eat an entire meal of salt, would you? Because that would make you a horse. I mean, do you want to be a horse? I say nay. But you could still use humor as long as you make it productive. But let's say you're working for an organization that is no fun whatsoever. The reality is that no one can control how you think. No one can prevent you from listening to a comedic podcast on the way from work to home so you relieve stress and show up more presents for your family. No one can stop you from creating a Twitter account to write puns. No one can keep you from coming up with chemistry raps while you're working. Job satisfaction, your outlook, your way of managing stress is entirely your responsibility. And it is the choice that you make. And this is the skill of humor. It starts by sharing your point of view. And when we explore and heighten that point of view, and we, yes, and both our work and our life, and finally we practice, perform, and repeat, that's how we become better. And people can take an improv class, or you can try stand up comedy. But we can also be more aware of how we create humor every single day. And anyone can do these things. A couple of months ago, I posted, I'm trying to decide if I should become an athlete or a criminal. So I made a list of pros and cons. My grandma's response was one word: funny. I don't know. Does she think that it's actually funny, or is she just messing with me? So a couple of months later, I posted, I think a cozy bar that serves figs would make great for a plum date spot. My grandma's response was, ha ha. There was something about that comma. And then a couple of weeks ago, I posted, converting the numbers 51, 6, and 500 in Roman numerals makes me livid. My grandma's response was, hey, this one's actually good. Trolled by my own grandma. It doesn't matter your age, income, perspective, personality assessment, your superior superlative, or your celebrity doppelganger. Anyone can be funnier. And it all starts with a choice. A choice to try and find ways to use humor. A choice like to be like my grandma. To look at the world around you and think, WTF. Wow, that's fun.